Some of us, we all face the same thing, but we don't all react the same way. Some of us shrink from it and go into a state of depression as if this catatonic state of depression would immunize you from the effects of the pain. She doesn't have time to be depressed because the time she's wasting on depression could cost her daughter her life. So she makes, instead of making the decision to react with depression, she becomes desperate and determined. I won't even talk about desperate because I did that last time, and you need to get the desperate thing because until you understand desperate, you won't understand the way we worship. Cute people don't worship like desperate people. Cute people are more worried about their mascara. But when you get desperate, you will mess up your whole. When you get desperate, you don't care about your edges. You don't care about your curls. Come on, when you get desperate, you don't care that your tie is crooked. You don't care if you don't have on a tie. You don't care if you come out of your shoes. Have you ever had a problem that made you desperate and radical for Jesus? I mean radical for Jesus. I mean uncouth for Jesus. You don't care if you're on key or out of tune. You don't care whether the band can pick you up or not because you are desperate. There are some desperate people in this house right now. There are some determined people in this house right now. You don't get up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, jump in the shower at 6:45, get out in traffic on a Sunday if you're not a desperate person. All the desperate, determined people make some noise in this house.
Everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no, wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it.
You have to develop a doggedness in order to make it. You got to have some toughness in you. And the only way to develop toughness is you got to practice being tough. And you cannot practice being tough by quitting every time you get tired, by stopping every time you don't feel like it, by giving up every time you get challenged. That's what's wrong with people now. People don't make it because they always give up when it get hard. It's so challenging now. They was talking about me. I feel weak. I'm tired. Life don't give a damn about you being tired. You got to get about the business now. You want to be successful, you got to get at it. So stop all this soft shoe shitting and all that mess, man. You got to get at it. You got to tear their mouth out. This ain't finna be easy. Life is not getting ready to be easy for you. You can stop hoping for that. You're going to lose loved ones. But you got to get doggish about it. Now, you really want to be successful, you're going to have to get tough. If you soft, you ain't going to win. I'm sorry. Because the devil is busy. The devil going to throw hardship your way. He testing you too. You got to get doggedly tough, period. That's the truth. Now, you can be nice if you want to, and that's beautiful. You better get some dog. You ain't going to make it.
Being aggressive. That means you are ready to attack. As I always point out, this doesn't mean you walk around with your chest puffed out, ready to bang heads with everyone around you. It doesn't mean you confront people physically or mentally head on without a tactically superior plan. No. What it does mean is that you are going to get after it. You are going to move fast. You are going to think fast. You are going to outthink and outmaneuver the enemy. If I think the enemy is going to attack me, I'm going to attack them first. If I think they are going to seize a piece of terrain, I am going to be there waiting for them. If I think the enemy is going to flank me, too late, I'm already flanking them. I view aggression as a fire in your mind that says, I am going to win. I am going to battle, and I am going to fight, and I am going to use every tool I have to crush my enemy. And that is what aggression is to me. The unstoppable fighting spirit. The drive. the burning desire to achieve mission success using every possible tool, asset, and strategy and tactic to bring about victory. It is the will to win. And if that kind of internal, relentless aggression is your default mode, you will win.
If you want to know how to change your life, I give it to you in 3 words, boring as it sounds. Raise your standards.
I want you to think about what you feel when you get dressed up, or you put on a tux, or you put on a nice suit and you go to an event. And I want you to think about how that feels. I want you to think about how powerful you feel, how successful you feel, even if you're not. What if you woke up every single day with that? What if you woke up every single day with that confidence? What if you woke up every single day feeling like the baddest motherfucker in the room, and you walked around with that everywhere you went? How different would your life be? How different would your relationships be? How different would your career be? But how do we translate that into day-to-day life? Because even people who wear suits know that if you wear a suit every day, it loses its luster. If you wear a tux every day, they call you a waiter. It's not the tuxedo. It's not the dress. It's not the suit that makes you feel that. It's the pride and your attention to detail. And this is how successful people cultivate this feeling over the course of their everyday life. You have to understand that you feeling that way is a direct reflection of how you're living up to the standards that you know in your heart you hold for yourself. If you miss a workout, if you miss meals, if you do a half-ass job at your work, if you do a half-ass job at home, guess what? You are not going to have that crazy feeling of superpower. Here's the good news. It's very easy to cultivate this. It starts when you get up. It starts with taking pride in your appearance. It starts with taking pride in your job. It starts with taking pride in your discipline that you know you need to have to become the person that you want to become. Right now is when everybody else quits. Right now is when everybody else is going to fall behind. Right now is when everybody else decides to do something that's easier or faster or not as hard. And that's what gets you ahead. That's what gets you to have pride. Because those struggles, those feelings, those things that are difficult, they are there to test you. You have to understand that struggle is a privilege. Hardship is a privilege. You have to take pride in not quitting when other people are going to quit. You have to take pride in executing your job to the very best of your ability. Negative emotion, negative frustration is compounded. If you can't figure out how to create a good situation out of a situation where you're having difficulty, you are in for a long ass kick. Your whole life is going to be a fucking train wreck. Talk about how the competition is the greatest at the bottom of the pyramid. The reason the competition is the greatest at the bottom of the pyramid is because it's easy. As you not just enduring your struggles and enduring your frustration, but turning them into a privilege, knowing that they're teaching you a lesson, knowing that other people who aren't as gritty and tough as you are quitting while you're sitting there suffering. Suffering is a fucking privilege.
Everybody in life gets their musts. They don't get their shoulds. Most people have a list of shoulds, don't they? Don't you have a list of things you should do, you should follow through on? I should lose some weight, I should work out more, I should get into the office earlier. People love to have their should list be met, but it's kind of like New Year's resolutions. You kind of know it's not going to happen. But when you decide something is a must for you, when you cut off any possible, you say, I'm going to find the way, I'm going to make the way. Human beings, when they resolve things and they make a real resolution inside themselves, which is they raise the standard, they make it a must, they find a way to make things work. Because somewhere when we make this click, when we make something a must, we attach ourselves to it. It becomes part of our identity. Whatever people have their identity attached to, they live. We live who we believe we are. Your physical body today is an absolute reflection of only one thing, not your goals, not your desires, but your standards. If your standard is you're an athlete, then there's a certain amount of strength, a muscle tone, and energy that's available in your body on a regular basis because that's who you are. And so you do whatever's necessary to maintain that identity. The strongest force in the human personality is this need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. Once you lock in on that identity, your brain finds a way to keep you there. If you identify yourself in a new way and you own that every day, and that becomes the standard of how you live, you'll find a way to make that standard real. It all comes down to the inner game, my friends. Changing your life is a change in the inner game. The outside world you can't control, but you have absolute control over this one if you learn the dynamics of what shapes you. Instead of your goals to lose 10 pounds, which is not compelling, what if your vision was to get back to my fighting weight? This year, this month, this next 90 days, I'm going to transform my body. I'm going to take on a new challenge. I'm going to find some technique or strategy. There's a million of them that can reframe myself where I'm going to feel younger, stronger, more vibrant than ever before. Here's my reasons, because I want the energy to really make my life work, because it's tough out there and I want to be stronger than I've ever been before. Don't let this year be like last. If last year was great, still don't let it be that way. Raise the standard. If your life is perfect and extraordinary, you darn well know you're not going to be happy unless you keep making it better. It's not what we get that make us happy. It's who we become. The only thing that's going to make you happy, my friend, in this year or any other, is to step up. It's to raise the standard. It's to discover what you're capable of and feel that incredible power pushing through whatever's holding you back and get to the other side of more of your true self. That's what this game's all about.
We all fall down in life. The question is, who gets back up? You go after it. You give it all you had. If you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena. The champions, guys. It's not their potential. It's not their genetics. It's their perseverance to always show up. Always willing to fail. Because in failure, that's part of success. Success is not, a marathon of life with just ups. Success is formulated through failures. Through facing your fears. Through falling down and getting back up. That's what creates the champion. Success does not define us. We define the success. Winners always show up. They're willing to lose in order to gain. Show up and you have a chance. If you don't show up, the outcome's simple. Never there. Like an audition. If you show up for the audition, there's a chance you might get the part. If you're too scared to show up and you sit back home, wondering what if and everything else, no one in hell is going to call you an opportunity because you weren't present. You face your fears, you become the person you want to be. You run from your fears, you're not living. You're alive. But you're not thinking the freedom. You're not running day. Day's running you. You always be the servant, not the master, guys. When you guys find a fear, that fear will either create you or destroy you. I love fear. The reason why? Behind every fear, there's a person you want to be. Fear is self-imposed, meaning it doesn't exist. You create it, you can destroy it too. It's an intangible. If you face your fears, guys, you will realize it's not that big. And once you face it, you go, oh my God, man, I spent all this time running from it. They're so small. Find a fear. Quickest, easiest way you can beat it. Initiative, right when it comes in. If you allow it to sit, it will grow roots. Start breaking you down. Destroying the potential of the person you can be.
The mind is the battleground. The fight is in your mind. So I want to challenge you to waste no more effort wrestling with other people.
You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
It's wearing you down. Half of the things that you thought were going to happen never did happen. But if you allow those thoughts to dwell in your mind, it will succeed at robbing you of your peace, robbing you of your joy, robbing you of your life, just because you thought yourself into a nervous breakdown. You thought yourself into depression. You thought yourself into defeatism.
So listen to me. There are those of you saying, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be the best at this company, right? But your value system says you believe in sleep more than you believe in grinding. You're spending more money than you're making. Why? Because you're a consumer, but you're reading all the books and you're saying everything the books are saying. But those books are not in alignment with your value. And if you're going to go to the next level, your values are going to have to change.
Your future is not predicated on the decision of someone else. You wasted too much of your life trying to change other people's mind about you.
It doesn't matter what they think about you. God is not going to bless you by their opinion. God is going to bless you by how you see yourself.
One of the great lessons of life is that nothing will change unless you change. Nothing will get better unless you get better. It's not about circumstance. It's not about luck. We all get the good and the bad. We all get the challenging events arrive in our life. That's a normal part of being a human. I'm talking about what you choose to do with those circumstances. If you are waiting for the economy to change, if you are waiting for your paycheck to change, waiting for your relationship to change, waiting for something to change, nothing will change. If you want change, you must change.
Most people allow their fear of failure, 80%, allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. When you're willing to fail again and again and again, then you make up your mind to become unstoppable. When you make up your mind to become a no matter what person, then that will then give birth to a part of yourself that you don't know right now.
Set some higher goals. Reach for some higher purpose. Go for something beyond what you thought you could do. You've got to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. But here's the big one. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Ask for wisdom to deal with the challenges of today and tomorrow. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Wish you were better.
We're not made to survive. We're not made to manage our pain or get through it. We're made to be creators of our lives. We can create anything. Anything we can dream about, we can create. How much of life do you feel like you control? How much does life control you? Do you tend to control more of what's going on or events controlling you? It's very easy to have those events start to take control unless we take control of what's between our ears, our own mind. You see, what you and I focus on massively affects how we feel, whether we're thriving or surviving. If you focus on what you can't control, if you focus on the past, if you focus on what's missing from your life constantly, that pattern of focus will make you frustrated, overwhelmed, depressed. Focus equals power. If you want to thrive, you got to focus on what you can control. You got to focus on the difference you can make. You got to focus on what's already in your life that you're grateful for.
The most powerful motivational speeches that I have ever heard came from people who told me I couldn't do something. You know why? Because when they told me I couldn't do it, I was bound and determined to show them that I could. Tell me I can't do it. I will prove you wrong. I will show you.
Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. This is important information.
And think about, because tomorrow's the first day of the rest of our lives. So what an opportunity we have to practice what he preached.
Because it's actually a scripture. But it's a scripture that's never explained to you the right way. When I learned it, it changed my life. Now, it's a scripture that you've all heard. It says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. All faith is, really, the substance of it is just what you hope for. That's all faith is. It's just real hard hoping. You remember when you was little and you said, I hope I get a bike for Christmas? And you went out there one year and the bike was under the tree? You remember when you said you hope you graduate and you mess around and got a diploma? Then you remember when you said you hope you get a job and you mess around and you got a job? At one point in time, the older you get, this got to start clicking in. That faith is really the substance of things hoped for. That if you hope hard enough, one day you ought to get smart and turn all that hoping into belief. And what is belief? Nothing but faith. And what is faith? Faith is a belief in things that you cannot see. When you ain't see no way you was going to get a job, got you one, didn't he? When you ain't see no way you was going to get that bike, he got you one, didn't he? When you ain't think you was going to graduate, you graduated, didn't you? That's because God was turning your hopes into faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for.
But, you know, faith without works is nothing. So try to be an agent for good.
Hit a kicker. This is the part you got to get. And the evidence of things not seen. Remember I told you that imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. But let me tell you the problem with your imagination. Problem with your imagination is you tell it to the wrong people. If you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. Do you know how many times God has showed you something in your imagination that you knew was just for you? You were so excited when it came to you, you went and you shared it with your family and friends. You know what they did? They shot it down. You know why they shot it down? Because they couldn't see it. You know why they couldn't see it? Because God didn't show it to them. He showed it to you. He showed you the evidence of things not seen. See, they might love you, but they don't know what God gonna do for you. See, your mom and them, your cousin them, your friends, they don't know. See, you gotta be careful when you share your imagination with small-minded people. Nobody else can see your imagination but you. But see, it ain't just you imagining stuff. It's your God showing you a preview of a coming attraction that he has for you. God loves you right where you at. All of you, you're in the process right now. You're in the process of becoming what God wants you to be. See, the reason you wake up every day is because God ain't through with you yet. Because he still has something for you that you've yet to receive. But you have to start living your life in expectation. You have got to start expecting great things to happen for you in order for it to happen. It is the law of attraction. It is real. It is nothing fake about it. A man is as he thinketh. If you live your life in expectations, that's what happens to you. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. If you say all men are dogs, you're going to meet every last one of them. I'll never be rich. You won't. You won't. The moment you change the frequency that your tower emits, the moment you change that frequency, different things come back to you. I'm telling you this how it works. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude. Change your attitude, you change your altitude. I'm going to tell you something that every successful person has to do, including you. Believe it or not, every successful person in this world has jumped. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you are waking up thinking that there's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. Believe in your heart of hearts that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump. I'll tell you why I call it jumping. When you see people in life, when you're standing on the cliff of life and you see people soaring by, when you see people soaring, going to exotic places, You hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year, every 2 years. You know, how is he doing that? Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? You just got to quit looking at gifts as running, jumping, sing, and dance. It's more than that. It's if you know how to network, if you can connect dots, if you draw, if you teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else, bake pie. Some of you cut hair, color hair. Your gift, not your education. You go get an education, that's nice. But if you don't use your gift, that education only going to take you so far. I know a lot of people got degrees, man. They ain't even using. It's your gift. But the only way for you to soar is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord. That gift opens up and provides the soil. If you don't ever use it, you're going to just go to work. And if you're getting up going to work on a job every day that you hate going to, that ain't living, man. You just existed. At one point in time, you ought to see what living's like. But the only way to see what living like, you got to jump. And here's the problem. I'm going to just be real with you. When you first jump, let me tell you something. Your parachute will not open right away. When you jump, it's not going to open right away. You're going to hit them rocks. You're going to get some skin tore off on them cliffs. You're going to get all your clothes tore off. You're going to get some cuts on you. You're going to be bleeding pretty bad. But eventually, the parachute has to open. That ain't a theory. That's a promise. Here's another thing. You can play it safe and deal without the cuts and the tags. And you can stand on that cliff of life forever safe. But if you don't jump, I got another promise I can make. Your parachute will never open. You'll never know. If I were you, I would jump. Because that's the only way to get to that abundant life. You got to jump, man. You got to take a chance. Now, when I get through talking, there are those of you who discuss this in the car. Well, I got bills. Whether you stay on the cliff or you jump, you're going to have bills. Well, if I quit my job, I'm going to ruin my credit. If you got a job, you live in check to check. Even if you got A1 credit, you can't buy nothing else no damn way. At one point in time, man, do yourself a favor. Before you leave this world, before you die, jump. Just jump one time. Just jump. Thank you very much. Now, Albert Einstein had a quote. He said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. This is important information. The biggest thing that always troubled me was my imagination. Because it was so big when I was a kid. You know, I grew up poor, but I was always imagining stuff. You know, my mama, once a month, would buy a travel magazine at the grocery store. My father used to be so pissed off. Bill, why we spending this money? Cause we were poor. She said, Slick, we ain't got no money to take this boy nowhere. But if he can look in these magazines, maybe one day, it'll cause him to want to travel. I've been to so many countries around the world because of that magazine. I just wanted to go see stuff. My mama had enough sense to plant that seed in me. It's like at Christmas time, we used to get in the car and my daddy used to take us to the suburbs so we could see the lights. And, you know, we just drove around the lights and I was amazed at the suburbs because I would see these big houses with horseshoe driveways where you drove in and came out the other side. So I told my daddy one time we was riding, I said, Daddy, why don't we get one of them houses? He said, boy, I ain't got no money for that, but that's what I'm bringing you out here for. She said, one day you'll be able to get one of them houses. Let me explain something to you. Because of that right there, I've probably had in my lifetime now about 11 homes. I got 4 now in different states. Every house I own got a horseshoe driveway. When they was living, they told me one time, they was sitting up watching TV. My daddy looked at my mama and said, Bill, he called my mama Bill, he said, can you believe that this little boy we had on TV? She said, Slick, I can't believe this. I used to send my daddy $5,000 a week. You know, when I first got on TV, I was making $55,000 a week, so I sent my mom and them $5,000 a week. When I got into Kings of Comedy, my father was still living. I showed my daddy one time how much money I made. He said, boy, it take me 4 years to make this kind of money. So I was able to give them something with my life. So before my mom and them left this world, I could give them something. I bought them everything, man, houses, cars, furniture. I bought them everything I could think of. I tried. And you know what's crazy, man? I'm 62 years old. I still want them. Be proud of me. I'm still hoping that they in heaven watching me. And they see me turn into somebody. That's all I ever wanted. It was in my imagination to take care of them. You just got to believe that. You just got to believe, man. Don't ever give up. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. All faith is, really, the substance of it is just what you hope for. That's all faith is. It's just real hard hoping. You remember when you was little and you said, I hope I get a bike for Christmas? And you went out there one year and the bike was under the tree? You remember when you said you hope you graduate and you mess around and got a diploma? Didn't you remember when you said you hope you get a job and you mess around and you got a job? Huh? At one point in time, the older you get, this got to start clicking in. That faith is really the substance of things hoped for. That if you hope hard enough, one day you ought to get smart and turn all that hoping into belief. And what is belief? Nothing but faith. And what is faith? Faith is a belief in things that you cannot see. See, this what the part you got to get. The evidence of things not seen. Remember I told you that imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. Man, do you know, now let me tell you the problem with your imagination. Problem with your imagination is you tell it to the wrong people. If you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. You went and you shared it with your family and friends. You know what they did? They shot it down. You know why they shot it down? Because they couldn't see it. See, your mom and them, your cousin them, your friends, they don't know. See, you got to be careful when you share your imagination with small-minded people. Nobody else can see your imagination but you. Your gift is very simple to know. You don't have to go anywhere to discover it. It's not in the water. It's not on a mountaintop. It ain't hid under a rock. Now, this is how you know you're not living in your gift. If when the alarm clock goes off in the morning and you ain't happy about it, you ain't doing what you want to do. If your job makes you sick to go to, if you're unhappy with waking up to go to where you got to go, it's because you ain't living in your gift. What burns in your heart is important for you to pay attention to because it never goes away. That's why people wake up in a rut. See, you hate waking up because you waking up and you don't know the reason. You waking up and you don't have no design in mind. Once you live in your purpose, when you discover your gift, you can't wait to wake up. Please understand, pay very close attention to the thing that makes you happy. All of you are gifted at something. The problem is you keep wanting your gift to be what somebody else's gift is. Identify your own gift because you already have it. Here's the way you identify your gift. Your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. If you fry chicken better than everybody you know, you ought to be somewhere frying chicken. People make millions of dollars frying chicken. Popeyes, Kentucky Fried Chicken, El Pollo Loco. All they doing is making chicken. They just found a way to do it. Somebody just started making chicken. You know the story of Marie Callender's? Do you know what this woman did, man? She worked for a diner, a greasy spoon diner that was going out of business. It was her only job. She was a single mother. It was her only job. She needed that job, but the diner was going to close. So she went to the owner of the diner and said, let me bake one of my pies. People like my pies, and see if I can help you make a little money. He said, whatever, bring it in. She bought one pie in. They sold every slice. The next day, the people came in and asked for the pie. She had to go home and make another pie. The next day, so many people asked for the pie, she had to make 4 pies. Then people started saying, can I buy my own pie? She made so many pies at this store that she eventually saved her money and put a commercial oven in her house. Now, she done made so many pies, the dude's shop, he ain't selling hamburger no more. All he's selling is them damn pies. That's how Marie Callender got started. Marie Callender now has over 120 restaurants. You can't go to no frozen food section without seeing Marie Callender in there. You know what she started with? A pie. One pie. Your gift will make room for you. Now, what is your gift? It's the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your gift. Quit running away from the gift. Your gift will make room for you. Stop trying to be something you ain't gifted at. Maybe you here because you need to hear this here. Maybe you here because you need to dust off your dreams. Maybe you need to explore your imagination. Maybe you just need to identify your gift so you can quit tripping in your own life, trying to figure out what you can do. Some people are born to be teachers, caregivers, nurses, babysitters. Those are gifts, you know what I mean? If you're living in your gift, you cool. It's just if you ain't. You do anything else, when that alarm clock go off in the morning, you ain't gonna like it. But I would hate to die and never do the thing I was born to do. You should look into that before you mess around and check out of here. I was miserable in my life. I didn't like waking up. I ain't have no purpose. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. On October 8th, 1985, I walked in a comedy club for the first time, signed up for the following week. The following week, a girl took me down there. She said, you got to go to comedy club. You're the funniest person I've ever met. I never even heard of comedy clubs. I'm 27. I walked in a comedy club. I signed up for the following week. I'm going to sit here and learn. I knew I was funny. I just didn't know what to do with it. They had 10 acts go up. 9 of them went up. I didn't laugh at one joke. I was just sitting there man, I wish that was me. Man, they should have said this. Every joke they told, I knew the punchline before they said it, and I wrote a better punchline in my mind, what they should have said. It got to guy number 10. They called his name. He wasn't there. They said, well, he's not here. We're going to go to next week's list. Steve Harvey, where are you? Long story short, I won amateur night that night. I won $50. It was a 45-minute drive to my house with this girl named Gladys. I cried 45 minutes. She said, what you crying for? It ain't but $50. I said, no, you don't even understand. I was born tonight. I now know what I'm supposed to do. I went to work the next day, October 9th, and quit my job. With $50, I had nothing. I just never gave up. I'm going to tell you something. That decision cost me everything I had. I lost everything. I lost my family. I lost friends. I lost everything. I became homeless. I lived in a car for 3 years. But I just saw this. I saw this vision. I just pursued it. I said, wow, that's it. You have to take chances in life. Life is about risk. If you play it safe in life, you ain't going to have much of a life. If you play it safe, you won't have much of a life. Life is risk. It takes courage to pursue your dream. Now, it's going to cost you something. Most people are not willing to pay what it costs to go after your dream because you're going to have to hurt a little bit. And most people don't like being uncomfortable. If you don't want to be uncomfortable, please do not pursue success, because success is a very uncomfortable feeling. And I learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Life is hard. See, for every time you have a plan, a dream, an aspiration, or a goal, do you know what happens every time you have one of those? This thing comes along called life. It happens to everybody. Life has disappointment. It's got peaks and valleys. You're going to lose somebody you care about one day. That's a valley. Somebody going to close the plant you thought was going to stay open so you could retire. That's a valley. Somebody going to fire you for an unjust cause. That's a valley. The people that got your credit card going to sell their company, going to sell their business to another credit card company. Your 18% go up to 26%. You don't even know why now your minimum didn't change because it's life. You can stop thinking that life fitting be easy, because I got news for you, it ain't. That's a false hope to think you're going to have a wonderfully carefree life. That's unthinkable. We are in this bubble. Got to put take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put your bubble. If you it is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful. Start putting some pressure on. Put some pressure on yourself. Get out here and get about it. Look, I love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich, do a couple of things. That ain't happening. You got to get real doggish. You got to get downright funky if you want to make it. Now, like I was telling you before, if you want to be ordinary, you ain't even got to listen to me. Just go on about your business. If you think ordinary is cool, ain't no problem. It's some really, really wonderful ordinary people. But if you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you're going to have to do extra. You put extra on top of ordinary and you come up with extraordinary. It's no other way. I'm sorry. But here's the fact. All of you have extraordinary capabilities. All of you. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category. You could be rich, man, but you cannot erase the work ethic part. There is no getting around. Ain't no elevator to the top. You got to take the stairs. The elevator don't go to the top, man. Not in the world of success. You got to take the stairs. Y'all got to start getting gritty, man. Somebody taught this to me a long time ago. He said, Steve, in order to get to the life of your dreams, you're going to have to learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. When you hear people say all the time, I don't want to do nothing that I'm not comfortable with, this person's in trouble. Because whatever your comfort zone is, if you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you'll fail. If your comfort zone is this big and you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you'll fail. In order to succeed in life, you have to step outside of your comfort zone. But I want to tell you something about yourself. All of you are equipped to live outside of your comfort zone. See, a lot of people are afraid to jump. A lot of people are afraid to take chances. A lot of people are afraid to put things up for risk. And you shouldn't be. Now, you can be afraid, but you should learn how to go ahead anyhow. See, because let me show you something about yourself. For all the bad days you've ever had, for every day that you thought you wasn't going to get through, for every period in your life you did not see no way you could come out on the other side, your track record for surviving them bad days is 100%. You have survived every single one of them. Your track record for surviving bad days, y'all, is 100%. And that's pretty good. You can't name one bad day you ain't got through. I have a life of convenience now. But in order to get the life of convenience, you got to have a very uncomfortable life. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Stop trying to do everything the short way. Stop trying to figure out the easy way. You got to get messed up sometime. You got to get dirty. You got to get your feelings hurt. You got to get disappointed. You got to get told no. You're going to ask somebody for some money. He going to tell you no. But show me something that has grown into something beautiful that didn't have no dirt on it. You take a seed and throw it on the concrete. Don't put no dirt on it and watch what happens. See, you get tripped out because you got dirt on you. But you need dirt on you to develop. Because dirt ain't just dirt. Dirt is fertilizer. Dirt is nutrients. Dirt gives you the strength for your seed to push through. See, you got to have dirt on you to push through something. Everything you see that's beautiful starts out as a seed, but that seed got to get dirt on it. See, you get mad when haters come your way. You get mad because you get a setback. You get mad because you get thrown off course. You get mad because you get a detour. That's just dirt. You get mad because they talking about you. That's dirt. You get mad because you lost your mama. That's dirt. I want you to think about all them bad moments you had that looked like you wasn't going to make it. And then I want you to ask yourself, well, why did I make it? Just change your mindset. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude.
My suggestion to all young people, if you could just hear me clearly, don't do what I did. Most people I know mess off all of their 20s. From 20 to 29, they just jack it off. They just jack off their 20s. They mess them up, man. Because 20 is that age, man, where you just really just trying to have too much fun. You're free. You're out of college. You don't live at your mama's house no more. You're out on your own. So what do? Mostly all of us, 98% of the people I know, we spend our 20s trying to exert ourselves in the fun category. We so big, we got to get off work so we can go to happy hour. We got to get off work so we can go get high. We got to get off work so we can go drink a cold one. We got to get off work, go smoke one. We got to go hang out with the fella. We got to play video games. The average person blows all of their 20s. Then when you find out that life ain't waiting on you, now you're 30. Now guess what happens to mostly all of us, including myself? I spent all of my 30s trying to do the things that I should have been doing in my 20s. So now my life is behind. Now you look up and you're 40s. You in your 40s. And now you're trying to do the things and have the things that you could have had in your 30s, man, had you just done what you should have did in your 20s. And then the tragedy starts to occur. You look up and you're 50. Now, that don't mean it's too late for you, because it wasn't too late for me. But you look up and you're 50. And now all of a sudden, all through your 50s, you trying to create and have a life that you could have created and had in your 30s. My suggestion to all young people, if you could just hear me clearly, don't do what I did. So you look at my life now and you think, oh, Steve, you got it going on. Man, you don't know how hard I made it on myself, taking the route that I took. If I could start over again and change one thing, I would buckle down in my 20s while you're young and energetic. Alleviate some of that BS that you're so dedicated to.
The 20s, man, you dedicated to the girls, the dudes, the video games, the clubs, them happy hours, that smoke, that drink, that freedom. You so, but in dedicating yourself to that freedom and that fun, man, you lock yourself out of the American dream. And it happens to 98% of the people. And the reason I know it is because it happened to me. And if I could tell anybody, man, if I could do it again, I would have changed the way I lived my 20s. And if I was in my 30s, you really in your 30s, it's time out for clubs and drinking and happy hours and parties. In your 30s, you should just be about the business of your life. Because say what you want to say about me. Every time I hear Steve, man, he trying to preach to somebody. I'm really just trying to share some valuable information because I lived all the messed up sides of it, man. Flunking out of school, man. Losing everything I ever had. Divorces. I'm telling you, man, I did so many things wrong. I made so many mistakes. Homeless, living in a car. I made incredible mistakes. I could have avoided a lot of those. Now, it created who I am. Now, once you made the mistakes, just get up, man. Quit, don't wallow in them, because you can recover from all mistakes. But you got to want to recover. You got to ask for forgiveness. You got to go to all the people that you crossed and you're wrong and you let down. You got to say, look, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Forgive me and move on. Now, everybody ain't going to forgive. That's life. God is in the forgiving business. And see, people trip out when I throw God out. I'm just telling you, man, the reason I throw God out there is because God is available for everybody. I always wanted to. But if you want to be downright hardcore successful, have a little extra money, you got to get busy. Whatever you're doing right now, as hard as you think you're working, you got to quadruple that. And then when you look up and that ain't working, like here's my father always told me, he said, son, when you think you've done all you can do and you can't do no more, do some more.
You have got to change the way you think. It is the whole determining factor of where you go in life. We are all where we are today because we thought ourselves to this position. If you don't like the position, think yourself out of it. Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. It don't function on nothing else. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. You got 1 million factory workers on the positive side. You got 1 million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each one of those factories in your brain is a foreman. You got foreman positive and you got foreman negative. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory. Guess what? We are how we think. You can't make a world, but you can make your own world. So now, since your brain is in two halves, let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not a morning person. Foreman negative hears that. He steps to the front. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm not myself. I'm not a morning person. He says, you got it right away. He said, hey, the boss just woke up and said he's not a morning person. He's having a bad day today, and he ain't feeling himself. Let's get to work. The million factory workers start producing thoughts to justify what you just said. So now guess what? Man, I hate my alarm clock went off this morning. I got to get out here in this traffic. I'm going to drive down here today. I don't even like these people on my job. I can't stand this car I'm finna get in this morning. Sure wish I had a new car, but I'm driving this ragged-ass car. And on and on and on. And your day starts tumbling into what you ordered at the top of the day. You could wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today is going to be a great day today. I expect something really good to happen for me today. He said, what did you say? You say, I said, I'm having a great day today. I expect something good to happen today. Foreman Positive turns around and goes, all right, let me have your attention. Steve's having a great day today. He's expecting some wonderful things to happen. And man, let's get it going. And they start in thoughts. Same brain. Man, I can't wait to go to work today. It may not be the job I want, but at least I got a job. I'm so grateful I got a car to drive to work today. Hey, man, at least I got a check coming in. I appreciate the fact that I don't have a car, but at least I can walk to the train. Man, this is going to be great today. That's how your mind works 24/7. It never turns off. Change your attitude, you change your altitude.
It all depends on how you look at it. Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. The way we think they are affects us most. And Shoaff taught me that the mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. As you think, so you become.
Albert Einstein said once, he said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. I want you to get this now. Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. Because if you think about it, everything you have, everything we have in this world, somebody imagined it. It's your imagination is tremendous. Somebody was sitting on the phone one day talking with a cord to the wall and said, man, I wish I could just go outside with this phone. Everybody in here got a cell phone. Somebody imagined that. Somebody got tired of riding in a wagon cross country from slavery to freedom. Somebody said, I wish we had something that made these wheels move by themselves. We drive cars. People got tired of driving from New York to LA. Somebody said, I wish we could fly. We got airplanes. Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. Your real life, the one God really got for you, is in your imagination. It is not in your current situation or your current paycheck. And if you've been living like that, you have then restricted yourself to a commonality that is really not yours. Because what really God got for you is really in your imagination. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So when I told you a minute ago, you got to have a tremendous work ethic, but you got to have a lot of faith. I talk to so many people who get older, like some of us are, and they've lost their faith. Well, faith is really simple. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. All that means is in the beginning, you just hope something pop off. You know, you just kind of hope something happen for you. I was hoping I would get on TV. I wrote it on a piece of paper when I was 10. I want to be on TV. The problem I had when I wrote it at 10 was I suffered from a severe stuttering problem. I could not talk outside of my house. So can you imagine when I wrote on a piece of paper, I want to be on TV and turned that in? First thing the little boy next to me asked me, he said, well, how long is your TV show going to be? But when I wrote it on the paper, it wasn't factual. It was just hoping. You just got to start with the hope. Faith is the substance of things that you hope for. You just hope something, Joe. Then what happened is through grace and favor, he give you a couple of them things you hurt for, and then you're supposed to start believing then. Because now it turns into faith. But if you take this scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. What is the evidence of things not seen? I just told it to you. Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. But guess what? Your imagination really is. It's the evidence of things not seen. Because your imagination, you know why it's the evidence of things not seen? Because you're the only one can see it. Your imagination is actually God showing you a preview of a coming attraction that he has for you. The moment you don't believe in your imagination, you negate what he got for you. Your imagination is the preview to life's coming attraction. It is the evidence of things not seen. Because can't nobody see it with you. Your problem is you keep telling your imagination to the wrong people. See, if you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. It's dead. How many times, man, have you had a tremendous idea? Something you thought was the one, and you went and told it to your loved ones and your so-called friends, and they shot it down. I mean, you was convinced that it was just, oh man, I just came to you. And you told it to them and they shot it down. And you thought since they was your loved ones and their friends and they got your best interests at heart, you believed them. You was wrong. You let them talk you out of what God got for you. Some of y'all still sitting here with the ambition of opening a business one day, but you scared to go start the business because you got a job and you got bills. Rich people got bills. Everybody got bills. Hell, I got bills. Everybody owes somebody something. I got something with the bank right now. You're going to let the fact that you got some bills stop you from opening the business, the thing that God done put in your imagination? So you're going to squash that because you got bills. Everybody got bills. Your real life is in your imagination. Can you grab what I'm telling you? So I don't know what you thought I was going to say to you. I'm just a real dude. I don't even have the education you all have. I flunked out of school. I ain't got no education. I don't use 4-syllable words. The only 4-syllable word I know is my bank account. What I'm sharing with you is stuff that everybody can apply today. If you're sitting in here thinking that you're too old to listen to what hell, I'm 60. I'm 60 years old, but I still rely on my imagination. See, if you think you're too old to make it, let me give you a prime example. Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders has been frying chicken his whole life. He was telling everybody he had the best chicken in the world. Ain't nobody believing. They turned him down everywhere. Colonel Sanders didn't get a franchise till he was in his 60s. Kentucky Fried Chicken sell more chicken than anybody in the world today. So if you're sitting there thinking because you got a little gray on you, you too late, as long as God waking you up in the morning, that's the sign that he ain't through with you. So what you tripping for? You sitting up in here like God can't do nothing for you because you 60. Man, you know what I'm asking God for right now? And I'm 60. If you could see my vision board, you would be blown away. Cause I got enough right now. I really know. But I ain't in the need business. I'm in the want business. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting something. Quit going down to these churches y'all sitting up in here going down to, keeping you in these little boxes. God got a big life for you. The only person ain't get, and look, and I love church. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking church. Don't tweet that. Steve don't care for the church no more. I didn't say that. But don't go down there, memorize all these scriptures, and then don't apply none of them to your life. That's what I'm talking about. Quit going down there just to go and just get a couple of scriptures and apply them to you. Let me give you one that's real simple. See, these principles of success, they've taken all of these scriptures and they put them in books and they call them, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. But everything in there is a scripture. They just reworded it because people don't know how to read the Bible. Like I can't really read the King James Version. I can't. The smallest scripture I ever read changed my life. The scripture is real simple. You have not because you ask not. Do you know the difference that could make in your life? I'm just giving you real talk now. I'm just trying to tell you how I got here. See, I have no education. I applaud all of you with your education. I'm sitting there talking to so many men who have in corporate America and all that. I'm in awe of that because I don't have that. But you sit here and you pick what you have, and it could be so much more if you would ask. See, you have not because you ask not. When the last time you really asked him for something? Or do you keep making requests that's inside the confines of your paycheck? When you gonna get outside of that? Didn't I just tell you God ain't in your paycheck? Didn't I just tell you he ain't in your job title? The life God got for you is in your imagination. Why you still imagine this stuff? Why you keep dreaming of a summer home? Why you keep dreaming of retirement, leaving your grandkids money? So I'm at the age now where I think about my grandkids. I got 7 TV shows. Dog, I only need one. One show pay me enough money. I do not live my life in the confines of what anybody says to me. I let my imagination go, and now imagination is a preview to life's coming attraction. But what that really means is God showing you a preview of what he has for you. So now, if you have not because you ask not, do you understand if you up your ask, he has to up his give? It's period. This is simple stuff that anybody can apply. You ain't even got to have no degree to do this. You don't even have to have no money to do this. You can start this today and change your whole game because you're going to need grace and favor anyway. You need the dream, the faith, and then he put his grace and favor on you gone. But you got to ask for something. If you up your ask, you got to up his give. Period. Listen, I have asked God for some tremendous stuff. Everything he hasn't given to me is on the way. I have no doubt about it. Why would he not? See, can I tell you what really prompted this thinking in me? When I was homeless, I lived in a car for 3 years. I made some decisions in my life, man, and threw myself off a cliff. My decision in October 8th, 1985, I walked into a comedy club for the first time. Had never heard of a comedy club. All my life, I wanted to be on TV. So I ran up on stage. I don't even know what to do, but I just started talking about boxing and stuff that happened to me. Audience was hollering, laughing. They brought all 10 of us back up on stage. They had a clap off. I won the clap off. I won $50. I cried from Cuyahoga Falls to Cleveland. The girl kept saying, why you crying? It ain't but $50. I said, no, you don't understand. This way more than 50. This what I do. She said, what you mean this what you do? This just your first time. You don't understand. Something happened to me. I won amateur night. I went to work the next day, October 9th, 1985, and quit my job. Now, you've all seen this book I got out, this video called Jump. Oh, I jumped. Now, I don't recommend that you do it that way, because 2 years later I was homeless. Because the first year of comedy I made $3,400. The next year I made $4,800, and the third year I made $5,300. I got a wife a set of twins. I'm sending every dollar I got to them. So I tried to live on $50, $75 a week. Gas was 38 cents a gallon back then. I just stayed in my car. So I lived in my car for 3 years. 3 years I lived in my car. And what happened was, I just said, man, so I used to fish all the time to eat because I'm a fisherman. I'm a bass fisherman. So I used to stop at lakes and ponds and just fish. And every month I get run off from somebody's land. Hey, get away from here. Hey, move along. That's not yours. Hey, stop fishing here. I just get run off. And he didn't understand. And one time I had fish on the line. They said, you got fish on that line? I said, yeah. Throw them back. I had to throw them back because I used to stop at rest areas with them little cast iron grills. I kept charcoal in my car. I started a fire and I eat fish. There's some days I wouldn't eat. So they thought I was just fishing, but I was eating. So I said one day, I said, man, you know what? One day, man, I'm going to get myself some land. I'm buy myself a piece of dirt. So fast forward, God bless me. I get on TV when I'm 38. I'm on Showtime at the Apollo. Lord, have mercy. They gave me my money. I saved my money up. I saved $250,000. I said, I'm going to give me some land. I went to Texas and I'm about to buy some land. But before I went to buy the land, I was curious. I just had the thought. I said, man, I wonder how much land is on earth? How many acres is on earth? Because, it's not going to change. God let you fly. God let you dive on the water. God don't let you make dirt. Can't make dirt. So I looked it up. It's roughly just a little bit over 36 billion acres of land. 36 billion acres of land. So I just got a little bit more curious. And I said, well, how many people on earth? I looked it up and there's about 6 billion people on earth. So I did some Steve Harvey thinking. I said, okay, if it's 36 billion acres of land and it's about 6 billion people on earth, everybody ought to have 6 acres of land. Not just me, I just thinking. So I asked God, could I have 6 acres? 6 years ago, I just asked God, just give me 6. See, I didn't want a whole lot of acres. I just wanted my cut. Just give me my 6. And so I said, ain't this crazy? So I thought about it. I said, man, what can we work out? Right before I got ready to say it, the guy that took me over there said, Steve, let me show you something right quick. He took me over to this hillbilly's house. He took me to his house. He said, let me show you something. He took me over and showed me this land, and it was massive. It had 3 lakes on it. It had rolling hills. It had trees. It was unbelievable, man. I said, man, this is incredible. I said, man, how much is this? He said, this 16 acres. I said, hey, man, I ain't got that kind of money. Let me go on back over here to this dude where Mike can cut a deal. He said, well, let me ask you something. What was you going to give that man over there? I said, well, I hadn't worked it out yet because all I got is $250,000. He said, well, listen, I'm in a little bit of a tight right now. Said, if you can bring me $250,000 cash by tomorrow, I'll give you this 16 acres. I showed up next day, $150,000, 16 acres. See, that's grace and favor right there. That's what that is. So my first piece of land was 250 acres. So I said, man, this is the land that I'm going to save for my family. I'm going to fish on the rest of my life. I'm going to be an old man. So then I got to thinking, I said, hold up, man. You mean you have not because you ask now? I asked for 6 years ago. He showed me 6, but he gave me 16. So I went to God. I said, God, listen to this. I'm from Cleveland.